So Hoka has dubbed the Zinal 2 a veritable paring knife for the trail, designed to deliver the same precision and performance as the original Zinal here, but with more energy return. There have been quite a few changes to the Zinal 2. Are they all for the better? And are you going to want to get yourself a pair of these as soon as they drop? Well, let's find out. Well, hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. First, I need to let you know that Hoka did send these Zinal 2 to me to review. They're not paying me for this. They're not going to see this footage ahead of time. I'm going to give you my complete honest thoughts just like I always do every single time. It's what I do. First, let's go over the stats of the Hoka Zinal 2. First off, it is a neutral, lightweight, aggressive trail runner designed for those shorter distances. Before we get to the stack height of the shoe, it's important to note that Hoka has actually changed the way they measure the stack height. Previously, like in the original Zinal and all the other shoes, Hoka had always measured the geometry of the shoe in their stack height measurement, which included the outsole, this part right here, the rubber, and the midsole. That was their stack height measurement. Now going forward, for all 2023 models going forward, it now includes the outsole, so the rubber, the Vibram in this case, the midsole, and the insole inside the shoe is what is going to give you the actual stack height measurement. So Hoka has said this is to be more in line with industry standards and remain consistent. So when I give you these stack height measurements, they are going to be quite a bit different than the originals, but that is all due to the way they measure the shoe. So now that we understand how Hoka measured the stack height for the Zinal 2, let's get into it. The men's in the rear is a 30 millimeter and the front is a 25 millimeter for a 5 millimeter drop. And the women's is a 29 millimeter in the rear and 24 in the front for that same 5 millimeter drop. So the original Zinal was 22 millimeters in the rear and 18 in the front for a 4 millimeter drop. 1 millimeter difference, whereas the Zinal 2 is a 5 millimeter drop. So even with the 30 millimeter in the rear and 22 millimeter in the rear of the original Zinal, the Zinal 2 is actually 2 millimeters lower in stack. And that comes straight from Hoka. And that is due to the difference in how they measure the stack height of the shoe. And they did actually remove some to lighten the weight a little bit. As for the weight of the Zinal 2, my men's size 11 weighed in at 7.8 ounces or 222 grams. That is a phenomenal weight for this shoe, and it feels so lightweight underfoot. And I should mention that that is a huge decrease from the original Zinal. This one weighed in, men's size 11, weighed in at 9.4 ounces or 269 grams. That is a 1.6 ounce difference, lighter weight in the Zinal 2. And that's just amazing, completely amazing, and it feels so good when running. And just to know, a women's size 8 is 6.7 ounces or 189 grams. The fit of the Zinal 2 is true to size, just like all the other Hoka models, and it is made from vegan and recycled materials. Hey, real quick, if you're finding this video helpful, why don't you scroll down, click that thumbs up button, give the video a like. It actually really does help out the video and my channel a ton, and I would really appreciate that. So the upper of the Zinal 2 has been completely redesigned. It's now a mono mesh upper, and it feels a lot like a ripstop or almost the Matrix material. Feels incredibly durable. And the heel collar here is a stretch knit material, which kind of acts like a little bit of a gaiter to help keep debris out. And it's really been pretty nice. The upper also has strategically placed reinforcements inside the shoe to help give you a little bit better support and lockdown in that shoe. Being totally honest with you guys, when I got the shoe and I saw this mono piece upper, this heel, I was worried, not gonna lie. I was quite worried because when I had the Carbon X3 here, I did not like this upper. This is a mono piece upper. It did not fit my foot well. It just was not very comfortable. And the Rocket X2, which is very similar to the design of the Zinal, this one honestly kind of tore my heels up a little bit, and I need to continue testing it, but I did get some blisters wearing these. So I was worried that that would happen with the Zinal 2. However, I am very happy to report that that was not the case whatsoever. This has been very comfortable. I've had no issues in the heel with discomfort, no blistering, no hot spots. It fits the foot well. There's not too much material. It just works really well. As for the breathability of this upper, it's interesting. So take a look at the tissue test. When I put the hairdryer on low, you can see the tissue really barely moved. It did not go up much at all. Even when switching that hairdryer to high, the tissue still didn't really go up, which was very surprising because this is a breathable shoe. I think what's happening is, as you can see on the shoe, behind the logo here, all of this is very breathable, just like the toe box here. It's just a lot of airflow in this shoe. When I had the hairdryer on, I could literally feel the air coming out of the shoe. Whereas other shoes don't have a lot of breathability on the side, and a lot of it is just in the toe box, so that air from the hairdryer is forced out of the toe box, lifting the tissue up. That really wasn't the case with these, and I can report that these are very, very breathable. Running on the trail, I can feel the air coming through it. When snow gets on top of the foot and melts, it does get into the shoe a little bit, But one thing about that is this material dries incredibly fast. When I was on the run in the mountains where I was going through knee-deep snow at times, I'd stand still, take a picture or whatever, and some of that snow would melt. My feet did get wet. The shoe got wet. However, at the end of the run, my feet were dry and the shoe was dry. These things dry out very quickly. So I really think if you have a race where there's going to be water, maybe you're going through a couple of creek crossings or snow, I think this is going to be a great option. It's going to dry well and it's going to drain well, which is going to be even more important to help keep your feet healthy throughout that run. Well, speaking of that toe box, it does provide plenty of room for my foot. Really no issues with rubbing at all. It's a very comfortable upper. The midfoot as well, I didn't have any issues with discomfort or any hot spots in like the medial arch. It fit my foot very well. However, if you do have a wide foot, this probably will be a little snug, so keep that in mind when you're ordering your shoes. As for the laces of the shoe, as you can see, it has a round lace instead of their flat lace, which they use on most of their shoes. And the eyelets or eye stays here are quite different as well. It's a little paracord material that is sewn into the shoe. And when cinching those laces down, it does provide a really good lockdown over the foot. And the tongue of that mono piece upper is very thin underneath of those laces, but it does provide plenty of protection, even upwards on the top of the foot. There's really not a lot of padding, but it's been very comfortable. I've not had issues at all. And the great thing about this tongue is it is actually longer and comes up higher on your foot, which is very helpful and better than the original Zinal. The original Zinal, it had a lay flat tongue that is very short, as you can see here, and the original laces, the original style lacing system. And at times this tongue would kind of slide down just a little bit and those laces would really aggravate the top of the foot. That has not been the case at all in the Zinal 2. It has been much better. Well, the heel collar of the Zinal 2, like I mentioned, is this stretch knit material. You can see it really does move and stretch quite a bit, and it really hugs your foot pretty well and does a good job acting like a gaiter, keeping debris out, snow, whatever it may be. And in the back of the shoe here, there are only about, I would say, 2 bumpers of padding in the rear, and it's very comfortable. Honestly, it feels really good. I had no issues with heel slippage, heel rubbing, any blisters, hot spots, nothing of the sort. Combine that with the lacing system, the upper, the stretch knit collar, it just provides a really secure lockdown when you're bombing down those trails and feels really good. Overall, this upper has been pretty amazing. It's lightweight, it's breathable. I think it's gonna be very durable with that ripstop material. So overall, very pleased with the upper. Well, the midsole of the Zinal 2 was not left out of the changes. No longer is the midsole a pro-fly construction like on the original Zinal here. But Hoka did tweak the midsole foam, and it is still an EVA midsole foam in the Zinal 2, but they tweaked it to provide a little more responsiveness and snappiness underfoot. And I gotta say, Hoka nailed it. This feels so good underfoot. It has the cushion going over rocks, terrain. It feels comfortable, but yet it feels agile and definitely feels responsive and snappy underfoot. That could partly be due to that 1.6 ounce weight reduction, but either way, it feels really good underfoot. The midsole of the Zinal 2 does feature the same early stage meta rocker as the Zinal, the original, and really provides a good heel-toe transition and toe off as you go through that gait cycle. Overall, I have been very happy with the midsole of the Zinal 2. It is definitely more responsive. It is snappy underfoot like they claim. It has the cushioning, it feels great, but probably the best thing about this shoe is it is confidence inspiring over that technical terrain. And really, that's all you want out of a technical trail racing shoe. Well, the outsole of the Hoka Zinal 2 was also changed. It is still the same compound, that Vibram Mega Grip light base construction. However, the lugs are now 5 millimeters in depth, where on the original Zinal they were 4 millimeters, so it is just a little bit more aggressive. But also those lugs now feature Hoka's traction lugs. If you look closely, you can see little nubs or knobs on the lugs here. And that's to provide a little bit more grip, laterally going rearward. It feels good. It feels like it grips plenty well, so I don't know if that's the traction lug or not. But as you can see, the actual pattern of the lugs is different as well. If you take a look at the two side by side, you can see that the Zinal 2 does appear to be a little bit more aggressive, but probably the biggest thing that you can notice is there is less exposed EVA midsole right here. On the original Zinal, there's a big portion of exposed EVA right here. Now you really don't have that on the Zinal 2. It's a lot more protection from that Vibram outsole, and the grip has just been phenomenal. Even in deep snow, ice, these have gripped really, really well. Really, the only place I had issues with grip was in this really nasty mud, and I'm talking like the clay type of mud, not just regular dirt. This was super, super slippery, clumped up on the shoe pretty well, and really kind of clogged up the grip here. But honestly, I can't fault the Zinal 2 for that. I think I can't think of a shoe out there that would grip well in that terrain, even with like a 6mm lug. It's just that mud is ridiculous. Overall, the grip of the Zinal 2 has been nothing short of amazing. No matter the terrain, the weather, snow, rain, wet rock, fast trails, dry trails, rocks, roots, whatever, it has gripped exceptionally well, which is what you come to expect from a Vibram outsole. And this just leaves you feeling confident, bombing down the trail. You don't have to think about if your shoe's gonna grip. You can just focus on the run, the race, and it's really, that's what you want. Well, as for the price of the Hoka Zinal 2, it's gonna retail for $180 US when the shoe releases on June 1st. So yes, that is $20 more expensive than the original Zinal. However, this does have quite a few upgrades of updates to the upper, the midsole, the outsole, everything. It's pretty much a whole new shoe, and the things that you come to expect from a trail racing style shoe. However, yes, $180 is pretty steep. Well, going back to the beginning, answering those questions, are the updates to the Zinal 2 worth it? Are they good? Yes, absolutely. I think the midsole, the upper, the outsole, all those updates have been awesome and are definitely an improvement over the original Zinal. Do you want to get yourself a pair? I think yes, if you are going to be racing on technical trail or just a fast course where you want to be light on your feet, aggressive, have a snappy shoe underfoot, something that gives you that confidence in the grip, then I think the Zinal 2 is going to be a fantastic choice. As for shoes that are somewhat similar to the Zinal 2, really we have the Salomon Pulsar, which is a decent shoe. The cushioning level in this is not as good as in the Zinal 2 or the grip. These really are only like a 3mm lug and they don't grip near as well as the Zinal 2. And then of course there's also the Salomon Pulsar Trail Pro 2. Again, these have a pretty good grip on them, but the midsole is not quite as responsive or cushion feeling as the Zinal 2. This feels better, and the fit and the feel for my foot shape feels a lot better in the Zinal 2. The rear, the heel area of this Pulsar Trail Pro 2 did cause some issues and some blistering on my foot. Well, there you have it. Hopefully that is the most comprehensive, thorough review you will see of the Zinal 2. I was very lucky to get to test these in snow, ice, mud, rain, fast trails, dry trails, technical, rocky, rooty trails, pretty much everything you can think of. And I feel like the Zinal 2 is a fantastic shoe for just about everything. However, once you get a pair and you test them out, please let me know below if you agree or you have different thoughts. Maybe you didn't like the shoe or something about it, didn't work for your foot. Let us know. I'm sure everybody would be very appreciative of those comments. Well, since we compared it to the original Zinal, why don't you go ahead and take a look at the full review. That way you can really see those differences in depth. Or if you want, there's going to be a playlist on the screen of some other Hoka shoes as well. But thank you all for watching. I do appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one.